these films, I'm going to start with Mother and Child. I hope you all, number one, will remember what Mr. D. Brad had to share, that portion of the discussion from yesterday. And, excuse me, kind of keeping in mind, entire body of work. I hope you will remember that Lee Daniels directed Precious. Monique was in Precious. She got an Academy Award, got an Oscar, holding a sword, as Mr. Fuller reminds us. Monique was in Precious, and her character is named Precious in Shadowboxer. Just kind of keep some of these things in mind. I say that frequently. Entire body of work. Lee Daniels, Monsters Ball, keep that in mind. Samuel L. Jackson, Lakeview Terrace. Kerry Washington is in this, for Colored Girls. These things should pop in your mind because that's what it is for me. When I see an actor like Samuel L. Jackson, this is someone. Actually, I was circled. My switchboard crashed. White people might be interfering. My switchboard crashed. I'll just continue. I was going to ring the cowbell there when I said Samuel L. Jackson. When someone emails me, as was the case with Mother and Child, when someone emails me and says, Samuel L. Jackson was in this film, or trying to think of another actor, Halle Berry was in this film, I tend to pay a lot more attention because these are individuals, Cuba Gooding Jr., these individuals tend to be in films that I have concluded white people use these folks. They really use and degrade these folks in their films. They use these particular victims to practice racism, white supremacy in entertainment. And I've seen a lot of their films. These folks, Samuel L. Jackson, he's been in a ton of films. He was in Malcolm X. Excuse me, not Malcolm X, my apologies. He was in Do the Right Thing. I was thinking of Spike Lee. He was in Do the Right Thing. He was in School Days. He was in Junk Fever. He was in Pulp Fiction. He was in Juice, Tupac. He was in Lakeview Terrace. He was in A Time to Kill. He's been, in just an incredible number of films. I think we just talked about. He was in The Unthinkable. He's been in a lot of very interesting films. This is someone I pay attention when this person does films, not, because I'm a fan, but just because I have learned a lot about racism, white supremacy, studying his work. So the email that was sent to me about the film Mother and Child, I will share, and I will not reveal this person's name because I'm not sure if they want to be, witnessed. Okay, so they said, I planned to see Mother and Child until I realized Jackson was with a white chick, dun dun dun, Naomi Watts. I think, additionally, Kerry Washington is not high on my list either. It is interesting that they were in Lakeview Terrace as well. I agree. I'm pretty caught up. This doesn't really have anything to do with that. Okay. I will go back and make sure I didn't leave out anything with regards to Samuel L. Jackson. I did. Okay, she sent me 2 emails on, so I'll read this one as well. Samuel L. Jackson and Naomi Watts Samuel L. Jackson plays a powerful widowed lawyer in writer-director Rodrigo Garcia's Mother and Child, and Jackson, who will be competing against himself on opening weekend with Mother and Child, hitting theaters the same day as Iron Man 2. That's wow. So it's just as exciting for him to step into the character of Paul as it was to become Nick Fury in Iron Man 2. At the Los Angeles press day for Sony Pictures Classic Mother and Child, Jackson explained the appeal of Garcia's film. It's a story. That's the exciting thing. Being able to service it and put that character on the inside of that story and have him be a part of the dynamic of what's going on between his character and Naomi Watts, that is the white woman he has sex with. And to move the story along in that particular way, Rodrigo did an amazing job of writing a story, especially about all these women. I say, how does this dude get in touch with his feminine side that well to make that happen? I'm just thankful that he wrote a role like that for a guy. Wow, oh my Lord. I need where is my SETI sound effect? Woo! Where is my SETI sound effect? My goodness. Woo! Okay. And this, reading this, thank you. The people that share, it's generally very constructive. I try to read. I think often I have read things that people have emailed to me, films. A lot of times I'll just watch things that people send to me. So thank you. I hope you all keep well. I'm kind of nervous about saying keep it up because I don't want to get avalanched. But if you find something constructive, send it, because a lot of times I do share that information. A lot of times it's very constructive. And we already have too many spectators. So yes, share. My email is untiljustice@gmail.com. Okay, so I'm going to continue reading. Mother and child follows three very different women as they try to come to terms with relationships and motherhood. Annette Bening plays a tough, introverted woman who gave up for adoption the daughter she had when she was just 14. I want to pause right here. Annette Bening, white woman, suspected racist. Her face jumped out at me because she's in American Beauty. I don't know how many people out there listening have seen American Beauty. Kevin Spacey is in American Beauty. He's a pretty well-known actor. This Bening, white woman, is in American Beauty. It was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Film. In the film, you have a white man in his 40s is about to have sex with his 16-year-old daughter's best friend, Kevin Spacey's character. That's in American Beauty. You have two white so-called homosexuals living next door to these people. There is a white man who gives the appearance of being against homosexuality, but in the end, he mistakes one of these gay people and he ends up kissing them. This is all in American Beauty. You can check this out. Nominated for an Academy Award. But the actress, one of the main actresses in Mother and Child, she also is the main actress in American Beauty. Very interesting. That's one of the things that was on my mind when I watched this film, just sharing. Naomi Watts plays Elizabeth, a woman who was adopted as a baby and who never forged close bonds with her adopted family. She's the one who has sexual intercourse with Samuel L. Jackson. Elizabeth is an ambitious lawyer who seduces her much older boss, Samuel Jackson, while also carrying on an affair with her married neighbor, whose wife is expecting a child. I just want to make sure I read that one more time. The white woman that Samuel L. Jackson has sex with, not only is she significantly younger than he is, young enough to be his daughter, this white woman is also having sexual intercourse with her married neighbor, whose wife is pregnant. Kerry Washington stars as Lucy, a woman seeking to adopt her first child. I want to go back to read something Samuel L. Jackson said before I share my views on this film. And I have sound clips. to get some of the sentences he says about playing this role. Then I want you all to listen to some of the sound clips. I'll share my views, and you can tell me what you think about a black male who would say such a thing. He says, "I'm just thankful that he wrote a role like that for a guy." He's talking about the male, Rodrigo Garcia, who wrote this film, and how pleased he was to be a part of it. They pretty much have given you the plot. This film is about a white woman. Her name is Elizabeth. She is given up for adoption. Her mother gives birth to her when she is 14. You basically are following the mother, whose life, kind of never came together after this adoption, and she just has all these regrets, and she can't form close bonds with anyone. So that's her life. She lives with her mom. They have a non-white, non-black housekeeper, very stereotypical racist role. This film reminds me a lot of Crash. I don't know if everyone saw Crash. Came out in 2005. Don Cheadle, who else? Lorenz Tate, Ludacris, Sandra Bullock. But very, very refined white supremacist film, also nominated for an Academy Award. You had Terrence Howard. His wife was sexually molested by the enforcement officer who later saved her life. This film, Mother and Child, reminds me a lot of that film. The confusion is there, and it's one of those stories where you've got all these disconnected people. You've got this white mom, you've got this white daughter, and you also have Kerry Washington in this film. And it's about all of these three females and their struggles with, parenting, being a mother and children. Exactly what the film says: moms, children. And but Kerry Washington, she's black. She is definitely not a major player in this film. It's kind of, you're seeing her, but it's really about the two white women. And Samuel L. Jackson, I'll just play the clip. I'll play the clip so we can hop into it. And this really will set the stage for, what you're seeing in this film, in my opinion. It is a little graphic, but, it's late, so hopefully there will be no children on the line. Before I play the clip, though, I do want to tell folks, look at the photographs. This is, I think, it's about 15 photographs. Most of these photographs are from Shadowboxer. You're seeing Cuba Gooding Jr. You should be seeing some, really disturbing things flashing by your screen. Pay attention to those photos. I'm going to make sure I kind of knock out everything that's in the photographs as we go. That's why it's only two films, because there's so much material in these two films. But pay attention to those photographs. There's a naked black male climbing out of a grave. That's just two films. All these images, you got a black female smoking crack. This is the sound clip, and you are listening to Samuel L. Jackson. He is Paul in this film, and Elizabeth, the white woman that you see him pictured with in bed together. They are talking. The film starts, or this segment starts, with them at work, and it segues. I think you'll be able to tell. There's a little space of about 30 seconds where I'll hop back in and kind of explain a few things, and then it'll pick back up. So this is the first clip from Mother and Child.
What keeps you here so late?
Snyder and Lubetzky.
Oh, not easy clients.
They're downright difficult, but they'll be happy with that. How about you? Time for Betty Bye?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, I could invite you over for a drink, unless you think that's inappropriate. We'll take your car.
Oh, hi! We were just talking about you, weren't we, Steve? Because I'm getting up to use the bathroom 7 times a night, and our rooms are back to back, and I just hope I'm not waking you.
I haven't heard a thing.
Oh, good. Well, you'd let us know, wouldn't you? Sure.
I'm Paul. Oh, hi.
Sorry, this is Stephen, and tell me your name again.
Tracy.
Tracy. Paul, my father.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you, sir.
Spending the night in the garage?
Oh, no. It's for a birthing class. It starts tonight. He's my coach.
We'll get out of your way then.
Good night. Nice meeting you. So what was that about out there?
She was almost pleased you were black. Did you notice? It was a chance for her to exercise her liberal goodwill. Now they'll be doing the math all night. Maybe the father's only half black and the mother's white.
They seem like nice enough people.
Oh, come on. It's impossible to know what they are.
Okay. I hope that was clear. Samuel L. Jackson, his white woman, they're at work. They're going to go home. They bump into their white neighbors. She introduces him as her father. He asks her to clarify. She does not answer his question. I thought that was very key. He says they seem like nice enough people, and she's like, come on. He's not suspicious of these white people at all, of any white people. He's about to, hop in bed. Real key, alcohol. Man, pay attention. Here you go.
I want you to drink the rest in one go.
White people and alcohol, very deadly combination. Not drink with white people. Oof, club soda, water, any excuse. Do not drink with white people.
No. Stay still. Don't move, old man.
Context of white supremacy. I was thinking there's a purpose for all this too. I'll make sure I explain. One thing, I hope everyone does not just take this for granted, having this sort of graphic, intense sexual displays. You didn't have this sort of stuff between black people and white people. I mean, even just 30 years ago, it would be, kind of whoa to have some. I mean, that just is not. White people would have wigged out not too long ago to have something like that on the screen. It's significant, the fact that you have tons of these films with super graphic portrayals of black people and white people engaged in sexual intercourse. I mean, it's just tons of these films now. That in and of itself should not be taken for granted. Now, the significance of why I played that. Dr. Welsing, when she was on the 300th broadcast, she said the people who will say Tyler Perry wearing a dress, Martin Lawrence wearing a dress, this is no big deal. It's just entertainment. There are white people who also wear dress. Robin Williams has done it. Big time white actors who have done this. This is no big deal. In the context of white supremacy, Dr. Welsing, she said mainstream films, white actors, you are not going to see Tom Cruise coming out wearing a dress every film or once a year. You are not going to see Bruce Willis out wearing a dress every year. And we can go on, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, who else do we want to talk about? Hugh Grant, any of these other white people. Tom Hanks, you're not going to see these guys. They are not known for wearing a dress. It is only black actors, black male actors who are known for wearing dresses and being effeminate. So when you have a role like this, even when they are agreeing to go to her house, she is in charge. She is saying, what does Mr. Fuller say? The white person always makes the selection if there's going to be some of this, bedroom integration. The white person always chooses. She says, hey, come have a drink. We'll take your car. She is making all of the decisions. Gets him to drink a little bit. Key part. Now, you all weren't able to see that. I don't know if it came across as clearly just listening, but she pushes him on the bed. She's on top of him. Even that is significant. She's on top of him, not the male on top of the female. Not saying it has to be that. I'm just saying, standard mainstream film, the guy would be on top, right? Patriarchy, that's what they say, right? That's not here. The white woman is on top. Then she stops him from disrobing. She undresses him. Again, quite a deviation from what we typically see. She's on top of him, and I hope, it came across. She tells him, no, I want to climax first. That is unheard of. I mean, please set me straight if I'm talking crazy in a film for a female to, what? What is going on? I thought this was patriarchy. What is going on? It was alarming to me. It really stood out. Again, this is incredibly graphic material that would not have been allowed. White people were furious about things like this. They have stories of white people stopping whole films around this. And now you can just have tons of these sort of something new films coming out all the time, and it's a big deal. And they get celebrated, applauded. This is great cinema. Just an interesting trend in the context of white supremacy. I'm going to move to play the next clip. And these folks are both attorneys, right? So they're very sharp with words. Man, oh man. Check out this white woman and her use of words.
My daughter asked me if I was dating. I didn't know what to tell her.
You're having an affair with one of your attorneys.
Is it an affair if neither party is married?
An affair is any sexual or romantic relationship of an informal or temporary nature.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Read your brief on the Nelligan case. It's outstanding. You cited Escalante versus L.A. County, which is a very obscure case, but perfect for this. Good work. I'm recommending you to leave the Thomas & Thompson team.
You think that's going to go over well with Guinness and Wilder and all your Wonder Boys out there?
Well, they'll have to eat it. It is my law firm.
I'm going to have to pass. Thank you, though.
Well, why would you do that?
When I've been here long enough to win this kind of promotion, I'll take it. I know I deserve it. But just give me a chance to earn it.
What do you want for yourself, professionally?
I want to sit on the Circuit Court of Appeals.
You've been at 4 firms and 3 cities in 10 years. That's not a good strategy. You want to sit tight at one place, develop relationships, win the appointments.
That's not how I want to live my life. I'll get there. There are many ways to skin a cat.
Context of white supremacy. Just the attention to detail around affair. Man. And, to belittle him, in that manner. Like, this is nothing serious. This is just messing around on the colored side of town. Just totally belittling. And that's why I said, the listener, thank you. She's an investor. Thank you for sharing that. Think about that. What does it mean to have black people who are proud, to be in a role where they can be totally emasculated? And I'm not even going to spend a whole lot of time on that, It gets way worse than just saying, this is just, some little trifling episode for a couple days for me. This white woman becomes pregnant. Now, there's a slight wrench in the system. We don't really know if it's Samuel L. Jackson's child, because this white woman is, as I've already read, having an affair with her pregnant neighbor's husband. And I want to tell you how, this is white people. This is white. You end up being identified with this white woman just because she's white. You sympathize with her at first because, she's been adopted and she had a tough life and blah, blah, blah. But this, I don't want to name call. This white woman, gosh, she is like, you do not want to be around her at all. You talk about someone just doing hateful, ugly things. She takes her panties off and puts them in the drawer of the woman, the pregnant woman whom she's sleeping with her husband, puts her panties in her drawer, in her underwear drawer, right? And has sex in their bed. That's silliness, that's like minor stuff. This white woman gets pregnant by Samuel L. Jackson. Leaves him, doesn't tell him, that she's pregnant, that he could possibly, have fathered a child. She doesn't even tell him. She has complications, dies during pregnancy, and the child gets, taken for adoption. Samuel L. Jackson meets her before she has the baby, and he knows that she's pregnant, and, the possibility, he says, if this is my child, let me take care of you, white woman. I got you. Come stay with me. I got you. I will put everything on hold. White woman, I want you. And, she, rebuffs him and, get out of here. She leaves him dry. I'm just like, this is such an incredible disregard of black males. And specifically, it is a total disregard for black fatherhood. Like, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to, you would have minimum have to put down emergency contact. I mean, this is serious business. People die in childbirth often. It's not like a rare thing. I mean, it is risky. I'm sure, at least write down the name. If I should die, if something should go wrong, let him know. I mean, this is his child, and child goes up for adoption. Neutering someone. You mean nothing. Your father, being a father, you being a dad, means zip in the system of white supremacy. And I mean, the really eerie part was that this is something that would not even have occurred to me 2-3 years ago. Only because I understand racism, white supremacy a little bit better now than I did then, would I even pay attention to something like that. Hey, wait a minute. He should, have custody of this child. He wanted to be there. Don't I hear every day, good deadbeat dads? President Obama was saying, let's be responsible. Black males, take care of your child. You got a black male here who wants to do that. He wants to take care of his child, wants to take care of this racist woman, and she doesn't even give him the opportunity. Zero regard. And as I said, I suspect most people, that's not even mentioned. That's not even mentioned when they talk about how evil this heifer is in the film. Forgive me for name calling. When they talk about how evil this white woman is in the film, they mention her, having this affair with this pregnant woman's husband, which is true, but they mention nothing about she totally obliterates Samuel L. Jackson as a father. Who cares? Who cares? At any rate, the other white woman, this white woman's mother, she is also very evil. She practices racism, white supremacy against her non-white housekeepers. Just one scene, really got to slow down and pay attention to words. The non-white housekeeper, she's a non-black, non-white, so-called Latina. She has her daughter there. She's cleaning the house, taking care of this woman's mother. And the woman says, the housekeeper, she says, my daughter starts school tomorrow. I'm going to be a little bit late, but, I'll be here. As soon as, this Latina female leaves with her daughter, the white woman goes in to talk to her mom, and she says, she didn't even ask me if her daughter could be here. Fire her. I'm going to get somebody else. And for me, it's something I wouldn't even have thought of. Wait a minute. Didn't she say her daughter is starting school tomorrow? Like, this is totally moot. Like, the issue right here is just to be evil, just to practice racism. Like, there's not even an issue here anymore. Just because I want to be offended. I don't care that the daughter's not going to be here anymore. Just because I feel slighted. She should have asked me. She didn't get my authority to just have her daughter hanging out here. I'm going to fire her. She doesn't, and it's the same thing as Crash. That's why I said this film reminds me a lot of Crash. It's the same Sandra Bullock, theme from Crash. Crotchety old white woman, cantankerous old racist. She's mean, mistreating non-white people, and she somehow establishes some sort of connection with the savage, heathen, non-white person that she's taking care of or whatever. Same thing. She ends up liking this non-white female and her daughter and taking care of them. She accuses them. She calls her a thief because she was trying to get a cookie. And it's the same silliness. The same silliness. White people get to redeem themselves. They go from being racist to being a friend of the Negro. Same silliness. Same silliness. Nothing has improved for the non-white people. White people are still in charge from beginning to end. White identified the whole way through. Kerry Washington's character gets totally kicked to the curb. I do have to take 10 seconds. Kerry Washington, I think, is very confused. She was in Last King of Scotland. I'm back on the page now, so I can be a little better on my job. Kerry Washington, she was in Last King of Scotland. She was also in Lakeview Terrace. She's in For Colored Girls. She was in She Hate Me. She's been in a lot of films that just promote a lot of confusion and incorrect behavior. She was a so-called lesbian, and she hate me. She was sexually engaged with a white person in Last King of Scotland, and they butchered her. They chopped her arms and her legs off. And real erotic sex in both of those films. She Hate Me, which is a Spike Lee joint, and Last King of Scotland, where Forrest Whitaker won an Academy Award as well. Carrie White, and for Color Girls, as I said, real interesting film resume. And she was wanting to play, or she was really excited about playing a lesbian with this white man as well. All that said, Kerry Washington is pretty gorgeous. I was watching this film and thinking, she's a victim, she's confused, and she's still kind of distracting. Like, wow, she's really cute. That said, her as a mom, totally destroyed. Like, having Dr. Housing on the program was helpful for me just to remember white genetic annihilation and to pay attention to reproduction, not just sex, but I mean the actual reproduction of children. Pay attention to that, and that's kind of a core aspect of this film anyway. But Kerry Washington's character, she is not able to have children, right? So real interesting theme. And at first they don't explain why she's married. They don't explain who has the problem. It's just kind of they're unable to have children, so they want to adopt. Real interesting scene with Kerry Washington, her black male husband in this film. I'll play this sound clip and we'll move forward.
We've been married for 4 years, and we've been trying from the beginning, but we just haven't been able to. And we've been hoping, against hope, as they say, but that just isn't going to be. And we've accepted that. And we're not bitter. I mean, I don't think. Do you think we're bitter about it? No, we're not. So we could be good parents. Joseph is a very tender man, affectionate, and we could learn to love a baby in a minute, even if it wasn't ours. Would we get to name the baby ourselves?
It depends on the circumstances. Sometimes the biological parents and the adoptive parents agree on a name.
We could agree to agree. Well, we're ready now to adopt. I mean, blood is important, but it's the time spent together that really matters. Isn't that right? Oh, my God.
What?
Why did you shut me up?
It's all right, Lucy. Everyone who goes to her office is nervous. Okay?
That whole speech about time spent together, where the hell did I get that?
Maybe I have no idea.
Well, why didn't you open your mouth?
Lucy, don't.
Why didn't you say a word?
Sweetie, she liked you.
Do you think?
Yes, I think. Just relax.
How does that feel?
It feels okay.
Just okay?
It feels good.
Please, God, let's find a baby.
Again, I hope this is coming through in the audio clips. Not just that you can hear, but that you are understanding the significance of why I'm playing these clips. At the end, when she says, that feels good, she grabs his crotch once they get back in the car. That's what's going on. She grabs his crotch. That's why I said it's kind of left up in the air with regards to who has the problem as to why they cannot produce a child. Like, it's, is it him? Is it her? Like, just a real interesting scene. But yeah, their inability to reproduce. They also have a pretty graphic sexual scene as well that gets interrupted. Which is also interesting. Their inability to conceive. But the interesting thing that I'll just try to highlight and move to the next clip. number one, the black male in this role that you just heard, that's about as much as he says for the whole film. I mean, you talk about just totally neutered black males, can't have a child, nothing to say. That's like every time you see them, that's about how the dynamic goes. Like her fussing at him, why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you tell me to be quiet? And then he tries to say something and she says, shut up, stop, you're not going to tell me what to do. You're not going to treat, that's the dynamic with them for the whole film until he leaves her. Like, I mean, gee whiz, it's context of white supremacy. At any rate, this film, in my view, goes on to totally degrade just black people in general. You know, you can't even say, oh, it's black males, oh, it's black people. It's just total degradation of black people and total degradation, in my view, of black people as parents, as mothers and fathers. This is sound clip number 4 from this film, which is same theme, total degradation of black mothers.
Hey, my grandbaby's in the house. So what you gonna name him?
I'm not naming him, they are.
Sebastian. That's what I was gonna name you if you had been a boy.
Why do you do that?
Do what, Bernie?
Ignore my damn wishes.
Hey. Which are?
You know what the hell they are.
To give that child away on his birthday. To take something that comes from you, made of you, and part with it forever and ever.
I don't want it.
I didn't want you either.
I'm not you.
Here you are, 20 and pregnant and single, just like I was. Yeah, I didn't want you. Now, I can't take a breath without thinking of you and wanting the best of the best for you.
That was the scene. Kerry Washington, she's not able to have a child. She's going to adopt. There's a 20-year-old black female who is pregnant who is going to give her child up for adoption. That's who you just heard. She was speaking with her mother, black female. And I don't know how many times the mother says, I didn't want you. I didn't want you. And, you are exactly me, 20, single, pregnant. And just, man, generations of, non-white people struggling, having children that are not planned for and, just in a tough position, generation after generation. Totally degrading image of black motherhood. And even, let's say that is true. If it is, it's because of the system of white supremacy, and they don't point that out at all. So just, really degrading image of black motherhood that does not get redeemed, in my opinion. You can say, well, the mom said, she's glad that she had her and she means so much. That's number one. This is set, if you get to see this is set where they've got all kinds of leopard print and what have you. They're in a store. And so it's got this feeling of like, you're in Africa on safari or something. So they've, got the little racist element there. And in my view, this still gets totally degraded because I'll just play the next clip. And this, further for me solidifies this degradation of black motherhood. This is clip number 5 from Mother and Child.
Down. So lost. Maybe not. Let's wait and see. Mom, what am I going to do?
I can't do this.
It'll pass.
I don't love her.
Yes, you do. It's lack of sleep, girl. You're not yourself.
She's like this thing. She's this creature in my bed, and I'm so angry at her.
For what?
For taking over everything. Day and night. It's me. She just wants to feed me and clean me and hold me, and I do. And she just cries anyway. Who the fuck does she think she is?
Well, I'll be goddamned. Do you think you're the first woman who ever had a baby? What the hell did you think this was going to be? Stop all that goddamn whining, grow the fuck up, and get your act together. Be the mother.
Context of white supremacy. Before I get started, I will say, when I watched that scene, and I think it's total degradation of black mothers. P.S. Kerry Washington is, really gorgeous. I was like, man, I wish someone would say that to black people. Like, I feel like we kind of need that. Like, hey, these white people are going to practice racism forever. Get up, get your act together, and let's go. Like, stop all that acting crazy and trying to be friends and everything. They're going to practice this forever. Get it together. But anyway, I thought this scene was just total degradation of black motherhood because Kerry Washington's character, her husband leaves her. He wants his own child. He doesn't want to adopt. He leaves her. She goes through this whole adoption process. She cuts the umbilical cord, and then the black female, the 20-year-old, she changes her mind and decides that she's going to keep the baby. So Kerry Washington is devastated. Enforcement officials are yoking her up in the maternity ward. I mean, it's just disgusting. Black people on the floor, outside, and anyway. So, she's just devastated. And then this white woman comes in. The white woman, of course, is in charge. She comes in and she says, we have another baby. It's the white woman, the racist, who totally destroyed Samuel L. Jackson's ability to be a father, neutered him. She dies giving birth. It's her child. So it should be going to Samuel L. Jackson, the father, but it's not. So Kerry Washington ends up adopting their child. That's how all these people are connected. That's why I said this reminded me of like Crash. You got all these crazy intersections. White people like to do this sort of thing because it just causes confusion and just, Anyway, so Kerry Washington gets this child, and she's gone through all this, and, she's wigging out. The baby is crying, and, you heard her speech, and, total degradation of black motherhood, in my opinion, because you don't get to see her get it together. You don't get to see Kerry Washington bonding with this child and being the mom. You just get that speech. The next time you see them, things are good, but the white woman is coming. The white woman who... this child's grandmother, right? This white woman who is coming, her daughter gave birth to this mulatto child, Samuel Jackson, right? The dad. Her mom is coming to visit, right? She knows what happened and all that, and she's coming to visit. And so it's really about seeing this white woman bond with her grandchild. It's not about, Kerry Washington, yay, you got it together and right on for black motherhood. It's this white woman bonding with her grandchild who has a non-white parent. They do a nose rub and everything. It's all centered on these white people, white identification all the way. I also think it's very interesting because this film, white woman dies in childbirth. It gave me hope that white supremacy will end. I felt like it's in their genes, it's in their DNA. This is not supposed to last forever. They're gonna go, and I think they know that. It reminded me of like Children of Men, that white genetic annihilation Dr. Welsing talked about, and same thing, that same anxiety that Kevin McDonald was talking about. I see it leaking in their films. It gave me hope. it gave me hope that some way these white people are, they're going to lose. Eventually, they're going to lose. We should just be trying to accelerate that process. But and not having sex with them in this film, that white woman dies in childbirth, but her child lives, and her child does have Samuel L. Jackson as a parent. But, you know, it's like they have a little President Obama. And if that child marries a white person, then, you know, hey, you can get a white person. And really, whenever white people decide who is white and who is not white, I think a lot of people have talked about how this can work for white people. In a few generations, you can reclassify some of these people as white. You have a nice buffer group. It works really well for white people. I think this film is a great example of that. No sex with white people. No sex with white people. I'm going to move. I think I covered everything. Yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted. I think this film, and there are so many others. There's so many others. I really think white people are looking to have a little bit more sexual intercourse with non-white people. I think they need that to support, you know, the continuance of the group of individuals that say that they are white. They need a little bit of that dark people genetic material to maintain things. I've even heard white people tell me that specifically, that if the individuals who classify... okay. My apologies. Got disconnected. I'm back. I will... interesting, as I was saying, white genetic annihilation. I'll say it again. I do think white people, they cannot have too much sexual intercourse with non-white people. They also cannot completely abstain from having sexual intercourse with non-white people. They just have to control how much of it they have. I think that's accurate. I've heard white people say that. I think that supports or it coincides nicely with Dr. Welsing's theory. And films like this, it seems like white people are wanting to have a little more sexual intercourse with non-white people right now. We should not do it under any circumstances, but especially when they, you know, are looking to want to do that, we should definitely be like, no. At any rate,